Hope all is well with everybody. We're gonna get started for today. Um, Girl, you can get down if you're gonna start doing all that. She is so dramatic. My dog is. She said, "No, I don't want to play with you because you're being dramatic." I don't get it at all. Um, no, sit down or you can get down. Thank you. I got a new chair and it's big enough for both of us. I don't know if she's gonna try to lean in and she's sitting right here. Literally. I got a new chair and so she can fit up here. And she's very dramatic about the way she wants to be either touched or positioned. So if I try to scoot her over, she yells at me. So you've heard her before and this won't be the last time. But I hope all is well with everybody. Today we're going to be talking about what's going on in our we were going to have the topic about being tired like usual, but today we're going to be talking about specifically more into, we might shift into that, but I want to talk more about what's going on with our healthcare, and as much as I can talk about it on this app, and without going into detail that is going to get me in trouble, but rather just making the connection for women, for us to understand what space we are in, what is happening. Because currently right now, if you want to lay down, you can, but you can't lay down that way. The space that we are currently in, you can see the shift already of the 2030 agenda and how we are in it, but people aren't seeing that we are in it. And so they're seeing the 2030 agenda as something that's going to happen after this term, after all of this goes down and all the laws are going to be passed that are going to be changed and etc. between this time of the term that we are currently in under the person that we are under. I can't say, everything. And so I'm going to be talking a little bit in code. If you know TikTok, you know how they are with the guidelines. But this will be posted later on YouTube if you don't catch this full thing. And so I want us to really understand not only the agenda, but the space that we are currently in. Because us thinking that 2030 is going to be the year that's going to shift and it's going to change and it's all going to hit the fan at that point has made us mislead ourselves into thinking that we have time, that we can push off our health, that we can start making changes in 2029, that we don't have to worry about it right now. But I talked about this, I want to say maybe last year. I don't know exactly when it was, with the BET Awards and all the other celebrities that were coming out and talking about the different things at that time, about the 2030 agenda and how when they knew that the new president was going to come in, what was going to happen, all the different things that they were talking about that I didn't pay attention to because I had already started researching the agenda in 2020, right? And so now that we are kind of aware, the public is more knowledgeable about the subject, but nobody is really sitting back and putting the connections together and seeing how it's already happening. And so I'm not only here to obviously help you be able to use plant-based foods to help your body heal in a plant-based form, using plant-based strategies, being a naturopath that I am, because I live a naturopathic lifestyle, but also understanding how the agenda has been against us since the time that we literally became a person that could be able to eat. And so even a person just has been thought of in life in general, because as soon as you are born and they have you under their reins of documentation, they already have an agenda for what your life is going to be. And so thinking about all the way back then until now and how they know what this agenda is, they know how many of us have been produced under the lower class that's under them, regardless of how much money you have, what tax bracket you are in. If you are not in that top 1% that is profiting off of the healthcare right now, healthcare system, who is not profiting off of people being sick, you are the little man to them. And there's not a lot of y'all that are in the 1% that can say that you're not the little man to them. But for the normal people who are in the chat, the normal people who are on TikTok, the normal people who think that they're not in the programming, we have to make the connections not only for ourselves and for others to break down this experience that we are currently going through. Because a lot of people are in fight or flight mode of just making it day by day. That they understand that they have to eat to make it to the next day, that they have to go to work tomorrow. They don't have the luxury of being able to drop their job, change their lifestyle completely in one day, in one shift. But you need to start helping not only yourself, and if you have gotten that bridge gapped and helped yourself, helping others understand what this agenda is doing and how it's going to affect not only 2026, 2027, all the way to 2030, but how it's going to impact the next generation. Because currently right now in our healthcare system, we know in the job space in general, how much layoffs are being impacted when it comes to like childcare spaces, fast food or restaurants, chain places in general, how easy they are quick to let people go. Call centers have been a bad turnover for years, but now we're seeing that relayed all the way into the space of healthcare as well. And we've never really had major healthcare layoffs the way that we currently are right now, as well as hospital closings. Insurance companies are dropping people for the simplest little things. Healthcare systems are dropping people when it comes to their jobs and employment. They're closing down hospitals. So if you don't have anybody to turn to, you need a surgery. And then on top of that, you have no coverage for you to go anywhere else. If you don't have the money to pay out of pocket, what are you going to do? If your doctor no longer is covered under your insurance, you don't have a doctor, and you need a life-threatening surgery to happen, what are you going to do? You have no coverage. You have no reliable doctor. You might not even have a reliable hospital anymore. These are the thought process that we have to have in this current day and age. Because sitting here saying that I have insurance and I'm fine is not keeping you covered the way that they have programmed you to believe. Because maybe, in the early 2000s, in the 90s, that meant something. But now that means nothing. You have insurance and they won't cover you. I talked about this, I think the end of last year. I want to say that they were talking about the fact that they were going to shift to healthcare, and then they went back and were like, never mind, we're not going to do that. But they were shifting healthcare where if you were having a surgery and the surgery was only supposed to take 2 hours. So anesthesia was only supposed to be administered for 2 hours. After that 2 hours, you had to pay out of pocket. They went back and were like, oh, no, we're not going to do that. It's not going to happen, right? But that was a warning. That was a major warning. And I had said this to the people who have been following me, how that was a major warning. Because they're not just going to start saying something and not go back and be like, oh, it was a rumor. Because they even admitted it wasn't a rumor. It was something that they had into play. And they realized that people weren't playing like that. People weren't going for that. And they were like, oh, it's too early. Okay, we're going to bring it back. But that was your warning. Because next time it's not going to be, a warning of now it's just going to be anesthesia. This little piece, it keeps sliding down, and I'm trying to fix it because it keeps sliding off my forehead, and it's making me, or on my forehead, and I don't want it on my forehead. My forehead is already so little as is. I want a little forehead space. But you don't want to be in the space of thinking that you have coverage, that you're being supported, and that there's nothing to worry about, and then turn around and by 2027 you've developed some chronic illness or your insurance company has dropped you. And if you have kids, don't let it be the fact that your kid needs something and you have no coverage, no doctor, no nothing. Because that's the space that we are currently in. That's the space that we are getting to, of women having to make hard decisions based on them forcing you into it. And you're not in enough alignment to not only listen to your body and have discerning thoughts so that you can prevent these things from manifesting into an illness or a disease. So you are down the path of having health issues. And yet you have no discerning thought to shift it so you're not going down that path and go down a new path of actually being healthy. And a lot of people, a lot of women specifically, are relied on by other people, whether it's family members or whether it's kids. And so you're beating yourself up thinking that you don't have enough time to take care of yourself, or you don't have enough willpower and you're not strong enough, that you're lazy, or you're talking down on yourself saying that you need to do better, but you're not. And so you're believing in diet culture, or you're doing these simple little, girl, go on. You're doing entirely too much today because now you're yelping because you're doing too much. Bye. And so it isn't about the fact that you don't have willpower, because I don't remember exactly what point I was at, but it's not about the fact that you don't have willpower, but it's because of the physiology that you are under, the program that you're under, the energy that is out there, and how much it feeds off of you not having a discerning thought. Because when you are imbalanced in the gut, that throws off your brain. which is going to cause you to not having discerning thought. And the lack of discernment is going to make you question if you're crazy or if it's really happening. And majority of people have too many people in their life that now we have the term of gaslighting, and which I'll say is gaslighting, that are going to go, no, I don't think that's right. I don't think that's valid. You're not feeling that way. Or we're all feeling like that. It's not just you, so it's fine. Or you shouldn't be feeling like that, so you need to pray about it and get over it. And that's the program that we are under, which is the energy that we are under that siphons your positivity, that literally feeds off of you having discerning thoughts, that feeds off of you actually being open-eyed in the situation of currently what the space that we are in. Understanding that in order for you to get in the healthy space of naturally healing, you have to get back to natural foods. And when you are in the system of Western medicine, they don't teach you how to naturally heal yourself, nor do they care enough to help you be able to heal yourself. So when you're sitting here with no hospital, no doctor, no insurance, and you're thinking that I just have to sit here and slowly unalive and this is my life, and you have no discerning thoughts, you have no supporting systems, you have no supporting community, don't you think that's going to put you in a mental space that feels like hell? Don't you see that you are going to be sitting here thinking that it's either sit here and suffer or unalive? Because that is the space that people are going to be in. Sit here and suffer or unalive. That's all I have. And that makes people make terrible choices with not only food, with their actions, with their job, because it puts you in a lack mindset. It makes you think that you are in panic mode, fight or flight mode, struggle mode, and you have to get away from it. So then you start making terrible choices, rash decisions. A lot of women are choosing men for money right now. A lot of gurus are telling y'all to choose men for money right now. And a lot of y'all are going to go down that path of starting to be ladies of the night. In one way, shape, or form, you are going to be in that environment. Because people are not going to have enough money to have a surgery. They're not going to have enough money to be sitting here going to a special doctor. You're not going to have enough money to pay the insurance company what they're asking every single month. They're siphoning your energy. And they're training you to go down the path that they want you to go down. Because think about making the connections. Like I said, we're making the connections, and I didn't think I was going to go this deep, but I really need you to see it. Can you imagine a world full of women that are in that environment, knowing how it taxes on your soul the way that it does? Thinking about a whole generation of women who were raised on, we know that we have to do what we have to do. And then now your soul is being taxed on. Thank you for the follow. And your soul is being so heavily taxed on for years that now you have been in the space of being a lady of the night for many, many years. And you've raised the daughter in that space. You've raised the son in that space. And now we're 2 generations down the line. What do you think the energy of the world is going to feel like and what it's going to look like? I know this is not going to be a topic that people want to hear. It's not a refreshing topic. It's not what we normally talk about when it comes to us breaking down different patterns and making the connections. But it does connect. Because we talk about energetic issues, and I will continue to talk about energetic issues because it is an energetic issue. Can you only imagine being in that space for years, raising kids in that space, if they have children, if they can have children, in order for them to afford to live, to actually be alive, by them paying a medical bill or paying an insurance company or whatever else. And this becomes the norm. Because that's what we're already in. People have OF accounts. Women are on here selling their bodies. And they don't care. They don't care specifically that top 1%. Nor do the women who are in that space because they're making money. The gurus on the internet are telling y'all to marry men for money. And instead of you sitting back and wondering, why are we being so heavily promoted these terrible toxic habits? Whether it comes to relationships, whether it comes to money, whether it comes to food, whether it comes to products. When you don't have enough willpower to question, nor do you have the mental capacity to question, you go with the flow. And that's what we're seeing. People just going with the flow, swimming down river, seeing and not seeing the fact that there's literal a fish catching net that is also combined with a wood chipper, all in the same space. You're sitting there seeing it and you're like, well, at least this is the easier path. Instead of you just swimming off onto another path, because the lake goes two different directions. It goes to the wood chipper versus it goes down the other path. Because there's different pathways. But you're so heavily seeing the fact that people are flowing down this way towards the fishing net with the wood chipper that you cannot sit back and go, did everybody else see that clear path over there? Because that's how simple it is. There's a clear path away from the agenda of being sick. There is a clear path away from you sitting here being dropped by your insurance company and panicking and thinking there's something wrong with you and that there's no way for you to be healthy. There is a clear path for you to not have to rely on a doctor when your doctor is no longer available anymore. Because let's say that Western medicine decides that they no longer need any major hospitals. And these major hospitals are no longer accessible to the average day person. You have to pay bukus of money for you to even be seen for a checkup. What are you going to do? Because y'all think that if you don't have your yearly checkup, right, which you should be getting your checkups from your doctor, but if you think that you are going to unalive if you don't have your yearly checkup and your insurance dropped you, your hospital no longer can see you without a $500 charge for a regular checkup, what are you going to do? Are you going to pay $500? $1,000? $2,000? What are you going to do? Really sit back, because you don't know how your body's supposed to operate normally, nor do you understand how to help yourself heal internally, externally, and flush on a regular basis. So you go throughout the year knowing that you don't eat right, you don't do what you need to do. You follow diet culture and you go to your doctor and you're still sick. Now let's eliminate the doctor because your doctor is no longer available. What are you going to do? You're sick now, your kids are sick now, you feel like your diabetes is acting up, or you feel like you're insulin resistant, you feel like you have high blood pressure, you feel like you've gained weight and something's wrong. What are you going to do? You can't afford to go to the doctor right now. I had one young lady that was talking to me saying that she was having a hard time finding a naturopathic doctor. And honestly and truly, because I said what I said, I didn't say this to her, but I did respond to her and let her know what I can assist her with, because I talk about feminine-based healing when it comes to our hormones. I'm not a specialist when it comes to me talking about seizures. She was wanting help with seizures. I said I can give you pointers when it comes to herbs for you to be able to supplement yourself, to be able to get in the space of if you want to get rid of medication but you want to use more natural products. But I cannot support you in just saying you do this, and your seizures are going to be gone. I can't do that because that's not my specialty. But I want people to understand that the path is possible. But when you're sitting here believing that a doctor has never helped you heal is more safe than you depending on somebody who has the same problems, the same issues, and that is telling you that they have fixed themselves, no problem, no issue on the internet, because there are people out here who have dealt with seizures and who have gone the natural route and are no longer dealing with that. People who are like me, who have had issues of anemia, hormone disruptions, having issues with weight fluctuation, developed asthma, all these number of issues when it comes to inflammation, and have healed all of that by going the natural route. And then you look at the comments on my videos that have blown up, and you see people in there arguing about how meat's not the problem, arguing about how this is false, but they have never changed their lifestyle, and they're all following down the same path on that river, going down that fishnet with the wood chipper, because that's where they're going. These people are sick, they're overweight, they're following diet culture. And I even just made a video on this, how you can see the people, regardless of how skinny you are and how good you look because you're in the gym, these gurus are unaliving. I almost said the word and TikTok doesn't like it. Gurus are unaliving. And it's not the gurus who are on here telling you to go plant-based, not raw vegan, or the ones who are going raw vegan who are telling you that you need to start eating in this space. But it's the ones who eat meat. It's the ones who eat dairy. It's the ones who are telling you that this protein powder with meat in it is the best way, or whatever the heck they're selling you on TikTok Shop, right? They're unaliving. And there's been at least, I think, 4 or 5 gurus that I have seen who are on here, millions of followers, who have unalived, and they've had headlines about how it was unexplained causes or they went naturally and it was peaceful. Because that killed me when I watched that. And I said the word anyway. When I was reading through this one article to see, I was like, okay, did they explain why she unalived, what happened? And they said she went peacefully and she was okay. And the family has not released exactly what caused it. And there's no known causes or no known factors of the fact that she had any type of chronic illnesses or diseases. But when you know how to make the connections and you understand what is the agenda against our health, you realize it's not because she had a chronic illness or disease that they needed to diagnose, but it's because you have something that is feeding diseases in your life that is causing an issue inside the body that took her out. And we are seeing more and more connections being made of people unaliving earlier and earlier based on the habits that we have in this program that we're in. And so now, thinking about all of this that I've just said, and I know I said a lot, think about having that issue of whatever is going on and not having your Western medicine doctor. And you don't believe in natural healing, so now you're panicking. Now you're sitting here thinking that, well, I just need a gut supplement, and if I take this, and they said I need more iron, so I'm going to take this supplement, and you're throwing all these supplements in your body, hoping that something works, banking on something that will maybe work for you and give you nutrients, hoping that maybe this will give you energy. And that's not the way for you to heal. How you start supporting your body and shifting and aligning and healing is you start using food as your medicine. Because food is medicine when you use it properly instead of just consuming and hoping that it works. When you actually give your body something that it can properly absorb and stop overloading your system, you won't be having to sit here and go through flu season, allergy season, and all these seasons of sickness that they say there are seasons of sickness, when in reality it's just because you've eaten terribly for the holidays. So now January you're sick. You've eaten terrible all through the wintertime, and now summer hits and you get a summer cold. Because all year round you eat the same terrible foods and you feed diseases and illnesses. You feed parasites, to be specific, which fuels inflammation, fuels diseases, fuels illness. And it's a full circle of you not being aligned with your body and not seeing the key points, the key signs of the little sprinkles that your body is just saying, you're not in alignment with me and this is not what I need. And for women, we aren't taught how to cycle sync. So can you only imagine all these women that want to get pregnant, that are trying to get pregnant, all these women that are dealing with fibroids and how they're not covering fibroid surgeries, or they won't be covering fibroid surgeries as well as they were, as much as they were. And all these women that want to have children, that are putting money towards IV and all the different things that they have for the system of what they're doing with hormone treatments, and how they're going to not only double or triple the price or restrict who can have it in general, or have limited hospitals that can help you. And so that means the price is really going to go up, because high demand, low product quantity. And then you're going to go down this same path if you're dealing with fibroids, of having to pay out of pocket for a surgery because your insurance company might drop you, or they don't cover fibroids anymore. Because they know that Black women, specifically women of color, are leaders of having fibroids, having cysts. And so now your insurance company goes, yeah, no, we're not going to cover all these fibroids and cysts because it's mostly people of color. And we already know they don't really care about us. You have to stop thinking that you're the problem and you're beating yourself up because you're lazy and you're lacking willpower, because that's not your truth. It's not the answer to your problem, nor is it your truth. That is what society has programmed you into believing, because they don't want you to sit back and realize that you aren't the problem, and nor are you not the problem, but you didn't cause all these issues inside of your body. And so there's a way for you to fix it, because your body is able to heal. You can heal a broken bone. You can heal from having an acne scar. You can heal from having hyperpigmentation. You can heal eczema. So why do you believe that you can't heal a disease that has manifested inside of your body if you can get rid of all of these issues that manifest just like a disease? because it is possible. It's just a matter of getting your energy correct, getting your physical alignment correct, and actually breaking down what is happening inside of each system that is malfunctioning and overloaded inside of your body. Because when you're not filtering toxins correctly because your liver is overloaded, this is going to impact your blood sugar. This is going to impact your hormones. This is going to impact everything being regulated, and it's going to make you groggy. It's going to make you fatigued. And the same thing that's happening inside of your gut, because your gut and your brain are directly connected. So if you were having issues with the gut, IBS, for example, pH imbalances in the gut, you are going to have issues with using and absorbing nutrients as well as producing serotonin, because serotonin is produced in the gut. And so this communicates with your brain to let you know, hey, we released enough serotonin, enough dopamine, enough for you to be able to be happy today. But instead you have low mood, you're having all these cravings and anxiety and depression, and you can't pinpoint it, so then you go take a pill. The answer for your problems is not a pill. It's for you to take a look at what is happening, getting to the root cause and saying, yeah, this has not helped me. And so since this hasn't helped me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start connecting these dots so that I can start slowly making changes. Because there are too many women who are dealing with diabetes and they're dealing with issues of blood sugar dysregulation, and they don't realize a majority of women are eating sugar during a time that you were insulin resistant, because every single month you are going through an insulin resistant phase. With each phase of your cycle, there is a phase where you are insulin resistant. And so when you don't know each phase of your cycle, when you don't know how to sync with those phases with food, you are going to be feeding the insulin resistance, which is going to cause you to be sick, which is going to cause you to have diabetes. But instead of us saying, what do we do about this? How do I get to the root cause and actually changing? We sit here and say, oh, I just need to go on another diet. This is a part of life because I'm a woman and my hormones are going to fluctuate, right? But your body is not broken, nor is it built to be in this space of tired, craving coffee, having issues with anxiety, having issues with your hormones in general. But it's here to give you signs, and for you to see those signs and being able to use the signs is a way for you to shift. And when you are shifted and out of that space, to be able to sustain the healing that you have shifted into. Not go back and forth and go, well, this isn't working. Let me try another diet for another couple weeks or a month or two. But understand that when you are eating for the phases of your cycle, there is no diet culture, because this is a part of your life. This is how you eat to support the woman's body. This is how you support your cycle so it doesn't feel like a punishment when you are menstruating. But when you're not synced with that, and Western medicine has not taught you that, you're going to be going to the doctor crying about a fibroid or a cyst and having to have a surgery or be on birth control. And let's not even talk about birth control off of insurance, because I know one time my insurance stopped covering when I was on birth control for a year. It stopped covering where I was picking my birth control up from. I had no clue. Had picked it up, paid for it, didn't even ask for a receipt, had no clue how much it was. I think I paid over $80 something out of pocket because my insurance company no longer covered the place I picked it up from. Had no clue. Can you only imagine when they double or triple the prices? Can you only imagine when birth control is at a low capacity of quantity but a high demand? So then now they've ramped it up where you have to pay $500 a month for you to be able to get some birth control. And y'all are sitting here crying about the fact that y'all don't want to get pregnant, y'all don't want to have babies. But do you realize that birth control was not always here? So how do you think the women were, and the preventatives, if you know what I mean, the other things. So how do you think that they were not getting pregnant back in the day? But you're so afraid of an herb, you're so afraid of something that is natural, yet you're not afraid of the hormone controlling birth control that you use that throws off your balance and blocks you from releasing. Puts stress and strain on your body, and you're not worried about it. Y'all's bodies aren't broken. You're just not aligned with it. And in order for you to get in alignment with not only understanding what's going on with society right now, getting in alignment with your body, supporting your systems, healing that gut, stabilizing your blood sugar, helping yourself balance so that you can absorb nutrients, minerals, And calming your nervous system during the time that it's going to need to be calmed physically and emotionally. I'm teaching you how to do this in my Balanced Body program. That program is going to support you. I know this is not a usual live that we usually have, but we do talk about concerning matters rather, about discernment when the time hits. And I feel like the time has hit, and it was a good topic to talk about today, because we have to realign. We have to understand what our body looks like aligned so that we can realign. And when you're fighting against your body, you're not going to be able to see that. But when you stop doing that, your body is able to see that you are trustworthy and you can work with it instead of against it. And that's what I help you be able to do in the Balanced Body program. It is a 6-week program. It's going to help you be able to get that realignment, but you have to actually want to stop managing and start actually getting results that you can sustain. Nobody can force you into healing unless you are looking and actively seeking and wanting that. Because if you want change, if you are looking for change, you're going to go get it. But when you don't want that and you just want information and knowledge, you're going to sit back and cry about a price. You're going to sit back and cry about the fact that you don't have enough money right now. You're going to sit back and be crying about the fact that you've tried diet of keto and paleo and Weight Watchers and you just don't feel like it's going to work. So when you are ready for that, a step-by-step process, you have one-on-ones with me, you're able to work with me and use our app, that you get all of that with the Balanced Body program. It is linked in my bio. You can get it with Klarna, Affirm, or Afterpay. This is going to help support you in shifting from the space of just managing and doing everything according to Western medicine, and actually understanding how the alignment and the balance comes from you getting back to the nature of Earth. What's naturally supposed to happen inside the body. What the body's naturally supposed to feel like. So before I get off and I let you guys go, what questions do you guys have for me? And during that program, I do teach you how to cycle sync. I forgot to mention that. Women, we teach you how to cycle sync because that is a major portion of us learning how to make plant-based meals during that time that are going to help you be able to support yourself in that realignment and that balance. So what questions do you guys have for me? And if you don't have any questions, I'm going to hop off so that way I can do a few more things for business-wise, enjoy the rest of my day afterwards. But I just recorded a video before I got on live, and I'm going to try to post it tomorrow. So I'm going to edit that. Any questions for me? I'm going to give you guys about 1 more minute. And if you were looking for that program and you want to know more, like I said, you can get that with Klarna, Affirm, or Afterpay. It is linked in my bio, so you can check that out. Any questions for me at all? Any questions? Well, I'm not seeing any questions, so I appreciate you guys for the likes and the follows. I hope that this has supported you. I post every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on TikTok for posts, and every Tuesday and Thursday on YouTube for live. So if you have missed this live or you had to leave early, it will be posted later on YouTube. I'm trying to think. If you have not got on my email list, every single Wednesday I send out a Wellness Wednesday. This week's topic is not on the healthcare, so I thought it was really good to just, get on live and talk about it. I might revamp it or at least post one for next week that is going to be talking about the healthcare system and etc., what's going on. But I'm not seeing any questions, so I'm going to let you guys go. I appreciate you all for being here. Thank you for all the comments. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. I don't know exactly when I'll be live for the last live of this week, because I try to go live at least 3 times a week. So we've already been live, what's today, Tuesday, Sunday, and Tuesday. So either it'll be, I don't know if it'll be tomorrow or Thursday. Like I said, I try to cut out Friday's lives because they're kind of like iffy and weird. So be looking out for me. If you're on my email list, you'll see an email knowing when I'm going live. I always send y'all the email. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and peace.